My next guest is finally back in action. He's got a huge fight coming up here against Islam Makhachev at UFC 259 on March 6th. It is Drew Dober back here on the program. Drew, how's it going?
Fantastic. I got a fight scheduled against Islam, and man, just pushing away. 5 weeks. Can't wait.
Yes, really excited about this matchup. I do think, though, it is a little bit disappointing. We didn't get to see you fight Diego Ferreira. I know you had that fight booked, and at the time of recording this, he's actually fighting on Saturday. Do you know why that fight never materialized to reschedule, or was it just that they wanted you to fight Makhachev instead?
I was trying to fight Diego all of 2020, and for various reasons, the fight never really took place, and so. It kind of slipped out from my hands. Diego's now fighting Beneil, which, is a good fight for him. But now I got Islam, and honestly, I like that matchup better. He's not ranked as high as Diego, but as far as like prestige and excitement and all that stuff, man, I prefer this fight. And but I definitely have my eyes open for this weekend, and hopefully fight Diego in this year.
Yes, well, that's interesting. And yeah, you sort of answered my question there. I mean, you must be pretty excited to fight Makhachev because they're calling him the next Khabib, right? He's his teammate and all that. And you mentioned the cachet. I mean, there's going to be probably a lot of angry Dagestani fans or, Chechen fans that are going to be coming after you, I'm sure, leading up to this fight. Have you felt that on social media leading in? Have you seen people kind of counting you out against Islam?
Yeah. And honestly, I felt like I was counted out more against, with my fight against Nazareth. But yeah, Islam has a huge, fan base and backing, and I'm just excited for the eyes to be on the cage, whether they want me to win or not. I'm just excited that they're tuning in to watch, and that's why I got into the sport. It's like I want to perform martial arts in front of as many people as possible, and Islam is bringing in the fan base, and so it just excites me a ton.
Style-wise, how do you look at this fight? We know his grappling, we know your stand-up and your ground game as well. How do you look at this fight from a style perspective?
It's not a good stylistic matchup for me. He's a great wrestler, good submissions, next Khabib. And that seems to be my kryptonite in the past, but this showcases my new evolved technique and skills, and I'm here to test myself. I'm here to prove that no longer is my kryptonite. And so on paper, it just looks like a striker versus grappler, but coming into the fight, he hasn't fought in a year and a half, and I've literally working on my jiu-jitsu game against Diego for an entire year. So we might be coming in with a brand new skill sets. And so, man, I'm just excited to see how this fight, plays out. And I'm excited for this extreme and awesome test of Islam Makhachev.
What do you think about quality of opposition? I mean, it's not necessarily his fault, but, because he's had some injuries and some other setbacks as well. But, I mean, you fought, a lot of really good fighters already in your career. Do you feel like that will pay dividends in this fight, considering, he hasn't fought? I think people would argue that you fought better competition than he has leading into this fight.
I mean, definitely. He's ranked ahead of me, and I'm considered the underdog. But I know without a doubt that I'm going to be his toughest fight to date. I just got dropped out of the ranking, so I'm no longer a ranked opponent. But, man, I'm going to pose some problems for him that he hasn't seen before. And, man, I've been through some wars. And so I know what I'm capable of. I know I'm durable. I know I got the heart. I know I got the technique and the knockout power. And so now my goal is just to make him uncomfortable. And I know full well that I'm going to.
I know they're different fighters, Khabib and Makhachev, but Justin Gaethje, your teammate, prepared for Khabib. Have you been leaning on him at all this camp, just maybe for strategy and things of that nature? Because he already prepared to fight Khabib, who's kind of similar to him?
No, I mean, I love my sparring sessions with Gaethje. They're fun. But as far as leaning on, no. I think Islam and Khabib are different fighters. The technique may be the same, but the mindset and then the way they perform the technique is completely different. And, same thing with me and Gaethje. Like, our styles aren't the same. So, we come from the same camps and we're buddies, but we have different styles. And so the fights can be very different, and I'm more so leaning on my coaches and honestly my past mistakes. With Beneil fighting this weekend, me ending up on the wrong side of the highlight reel, I've been watching those mistakes, wholeheartedly, and I know the mistakes I made, and know the mindset, that turned into those mistakes, and everything's changed. And so I'm leaning on just evidence of success and evidence of failures and doing something different.
Who have been some of your main training partners for this camp?
I got, honestly, Taiwan Claxton.
Oh, nice. From Bellator. Yeah, I know him.
The wrestler, like, the dude is fantastic. And a lot of jiu-jitsu players, people that, don't fight in MMA any longer, but are really, really technical when it comes to black belt jiu-jitsu. And Team Elevation, Denver, Colorado, we're not limited on resources. I have so many people here to train with, so many opportunities. I just had a week or two ago, I had sparring sessions with Ian Heinisch because he's preparing for Kelvin Gastelum. So, man, I have tons of people that I train with. So, man, we'd be here all night if I was dropping names. But
yeah, and it seems like a lot of fighters are coming to your gym. I know Heinisch, Chris Camozzi's, I know popped in as well. I know Kamaru Usman's training with you guys a little bit for his title fight coming up here. How has that been? Because you've been at Elevation for a while, and now you have all these big names sort of coming through. It must be cool for you.
Oh, yeah, it's fun to watch. It's fun to see kind of like how people, personalities in the gym, their skill sets, and training with brand new people, you get to like see brand new things. And so Usman's been showing me some cool stuff and just bouncing things off of each other. But what I love mostly about Team Elevation is, not only do we have like the greatest coaches and amazing training partners, but man, we're here to help each other. And that's why fighters are coming here because, we're not trying to beat each other up and prove to each other. We're honestly trying to lift each other up. And, I only have to win one fight, and that's March 6th. So.
How's the weight cut going ahead of this fight? You got plenty of notice, so I imagine, weight cut's going well.
Yeah. I actually got the notice when I was in Cancun, all inclusive. So, so luckily I had enough time to where I could, work off the vacation weight. But, man, it's going smooth. I'm considered a big 55er, so weight cut's always a thing for me. But, man, my nutritionist fuel your fight camp. Man, I'm not suffering this cut. So, going smooth, just routine, day in, day out.
Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
I got Oscar Martinez, striking coach, Dave Zabriskie, wrestling coach, and Elliot Marshall is my jiu-jitsu coach.
Awesome. I know Elliot Marshall does some like strategy stuff as well, like in terms of like mental visualization. Did you do any of that with him as well? Because I know Shauna Dobson was telling me about that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I started it, a while ago, and then it was just kind of like he's working it, I'm working it, so we work on it together. And what's brand new with this camp is just communication. All my coaches are involved in my daily aspects of training and stuff like that, and so, yeah, I just practice. It's not like someone tells you this is how you should think. You have to practice it day in and day out. And I love how my coaches, Elliot Marshall in particular, just kind of like holds me accountable to where my mind's at. How's
this fight playing out on March 6th, I should say.
March 6th.
It was UFC 259. That's why I said 9 to March 9th. But anyways, I don't think people care about that. But yeah.
So god awful at predicting my own fights.
Yeah.
It's fireworks. Islam's going to try to make the fight boring. I refuse to let my fights be boring. I'm going to stand and trade and make this fight exciting. And so whether it's the first round or third round or, we go to a decision, I'm making this fight exciting and I'm going to entertain the fans.
Where does a win put you here with your fight against Makhachev? Because, I mean, he's, like you said, a pretty notable guy. I know he's a ranked opponent as well, but just the cachet of, beating a Makhachev, especially if you could get a finish. Is this something that's crossed your mind of the implications of this fight?
Opportunity.
Yeah.
My goal is to fight the best in the world, and there's only one way to do that is to keep on winning. So a win over Islam Makhachev is going to get my opportunity to fight the top 10, top 5 guys. Man, there's that cluster of like Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier, those guys that I would love to be able to perform with. So a win over Islam is I get bigger and better dance partners.
Excellent. We haven't talked, I don't think, since you signed with VaynerMedia. How's that going? Any projects outside the cage planned?
Oh, yeah, fantastic. Lloyd Pearson's really, hooking things up. And, man, the company's really hands-on and, working on some great things. As far as, man, I'm focusing on Islam right now and kind of wait for the world to open up again so that way I can start traveling and doing a little bit more out-of-the-cage activities. But other than that, social media and then the Islam Makhachev fight. So that's pretty much all I'm working on.
Are you watching the Super Bowl this Sunday?
I might be around the Super Bowl, but as far as my attention, it may not grab it.
Okay. I like the honesty there. Drew, thanks so much for the time, man. This is going to be an awesome card. This is like one of the cards of the year right now. UFC 259, March 6th. You don't want to miss it. Anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media, I'll give you the last word.
I just want to thank the fans for doing the best they can to stay in the groove of things through 2020 and 2021. And, man, I can't wait to have you guys back in the arenas again and meet and greets. And I want to talk to all in person. So I just want to thank the fans for doing all this stuff.